Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Africa Cup of Nations, Nigeria set to crush hosts, Ivory Coast, and also on the show, Nigerians protest over rising food prices as NLC threatens strike in 14 days. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the master himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's good to see you again, BKO.
To see you, to do this with us, with our viewers.
Yeah. So let's start with the Super Eagles who have paid tribute to those who died while watching the Wednesday's AFCON semi-final match between Nigeria and South Africa. The captain of the Nigerian team, Ahmed Musa, said, and I quote, "Inshallah, on Sunday, we are going to lift the trophy for them." Help us do a quick review of how the last match caused the death of not less than 4 Nigerians last Wednesday.
Yes, because the match was so tension-soaked, we controlled after the first scare by the um, South Africans. The first 10 minutes of the game, we controlled the game. This team is capable of controlling the game against any African side if it will put the ball on the ground and pass the ball efficiently among themselves. But they usually like to concentrate on defending, giving the opponent the initiative to launch attacks upon attacks on the team. So after some time, we considered the initiative to the South Africans, and they began to dominate the game, during which they missed some chances, some gilt-edged chances, thanks to our goalkeeper, Wabali, and our resolute defenders. It should have been an embarrassing situation. And then many people talk about uh, our playmaker, Alex Iwobi. People attack him because he usually gives the ball away. But this doesn't happen all the time. He sometimes gives the ball away. That's what I mean. All good creative midfielders take risk. They give the ball away. Whether it is Bruno Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne, they take risk. When that risk is effectively pulled off, it leads to good goals. So there's what they call the Hollywood pass, which players like Bruno Fernandes like to make. It's a big risk to play in that manner because it leads to high turnover of the ball to the opponent. But when you successfully sneak in a Hollywood pass, you can be sure that the ball will be buried in the opponent's net. So, because we do not have any effective creative outlet in our midfield, the burden falls on Alex Iwobi to carry the ball. It's both the carrier of the ball in midfield as well as the person relied upon to unlock the opponent's defenses through those passes through the lines. So usually he gets tired. He gets tired because he has to do some defending and he has to do a lot of creative work. Not everybody has the physical attributes to play every game in the tournament and be the main creative outlet of the team. You've got to have a good engine. Your lungs must be in perfect condition to be able to play with that intensity in game after game. So immediately we removed Iwobi, we lost complete control of the midfield. The player who was brought in, Yusuf, who is not a creative midfielder, he's a defensive midfielder. But in that team, the only person that we've got who can do a bit of creative work is Alex Iwobi. So we came under sustained pressure from the South Africans, and Yusuf sheepishly kicked a South African player inside the box. So the goal that was scored by Osimhen was cancelled because the South Africans protested and urged the referee to go and look at the VAR. By the time he looked at the VAR, we saw that indeed Yusuf had swept the South African player off his feet. I mean, how do you do that in the box? Our team had defended stoutly, resolutely until Yusuf's introduction. And you saw the first thing he did was to pull somebody down, even when the defender, had that player cover. He pushed the guy to the ground, and we considered a free kick in a dangerous area. A footballer must have awareness of which part of the field you are. You cannot commit infringement in dangerous areas because you can be punished. So the pressure on us was so much, and that goal that we scored was taken away. We had to resort to penalties. Not everybody can bear to watch the Super Eagles with the match becoming a ding-dong affair in which you could not say who will win. So for some of these guys who are hypertensive, it is advisable that they stay away from watching Super Eagles matches, because apart from our match with Cameroon, there is no match that we completely dominated. We always eventually allow the opponent to attack us again and again and again. So this team has to learn to, kill off games. When you score a goal, get a second goal. But it's not a high-scoring team. It's a team built on strong defensive prowess and the energy of Osimhen and the ability of Lookman to score goals. And once Lookman was marked out of that game, we were not doing well in attack. So it's advisable for people who have blood pressure.
All right, Bikeo.
Issues. I'm convinced that we are going to win this game against the Ivorians and win and bring the cup to Nigeria. In 1984, Ivory Coast host the Nations Cup, and we lost in the final 3-1 to Cameroon after going ahead with a beautiful goal, from a cross by James Etokebe. But we conceded quick goals, and the Cameroonians beat us. At that time, the Onegbede coach, Adeboye Onegbede, was the coach of the national team. We have to be careful this time around. We have to really work hard, because the Ivorians will be backed by their noisy supporters, but we have to do our best. When you look at the two teams, player for player, Nigeria has better players than Cote d'Ivoire, but I must admit that they have some dangerous players like Sebastian Halle of Borussia Dortmund. The former Ajax player is a very good striker. He is imposing physically, and he's very good in the air. So we have to watch out for him. We also need to watch out for Frank Kessie. Frank Kessie was a player for AC Milan, played for Barcelona before going to Saudi Arabia to make money. He's a very strong midfielder. Is the man around whom their game rests. So if we can keep him quiet, then definitely we are going to do very well. Of course, in defense, they have someone like Willie Bolly of Nottingham Forest, who is backed by Evan Ndika. Evan Ndika plays for Roma in the Italian league. These are players who are very good, and of course, Simon Adingra, the Brighton right winger. He can play on both sides of the field. He can play on the right flank, can play on the left flank. So he's guaranteed to give the Eagles some problem. And of course, we also have to be careful with uh, yes, I talked about Frank Kessie before. I think these are the big players in their team, and these are players that we need to watch out for. Our players must not feel intimidated playing at the Alassane Ouattara Stadium, because I'm sure that the stadium will be filled to capacity. Ivory Coast has had a successful tournament. This is a team that came third in its group and still qualified on account of being one of the best losers.
Yeah.
They lost 4-0 to Equatorial Guinea, and they still managed to get to the final. They are the first host to get to the final since the year 2006, when Egypt as host got to the final. So I would say that they've done very well in this tournament. That even when they lose to Nigeria, no one will say they've not done well, because we never thought that they could go this far. What it means is that when a team when a team is determined, there's no limit to what you can achieve. The Ivorians have shown us that we should never give up and we should never write off anything. Our team has everything going for it to win this tournament.
Yeah.
For the fourth time. You know, we first won it in 1980. We won it in 1994. We won it in 2013 under the leadership of Stephen Keshi, who was the coach of the team. Now we are in the final. The momentum is with us. The fact that we beat the Ivorians in the group stage will encourage us to go ahead and feel confident that we can beat them again. And I look at our team, resolute defending. I believe that defense is the base of the team. It is what makes the team tick. And if we can play very well defensively and we get a few chances, we're able to bury at least two of the chances that we create, then you can be sure that we are going to win this competition.
That's right, BK.
It looks to me that the destiny is with Nigeria to win the trophy, and we need something to make us happy as a people.
That's right.
The politicians, the leaders have not made us happy as a people. There is hunger in the land. People are starving. People are protesting on the streets. We need something that rallies us together as a people, that makes us happy as a people, and will spread joy in our land. If we win the trophy, as I'm sure we will, it will spread joy across Nigeria. And that is what I want to say. I'm confident that Nigeria will defeat Cote d'Ivoire tomorrow and win that trophy for the fourth time.
That's right.
These players have shown commitment, they've shown perseverance, they've shown dedication, they've shown that they have got what it takes to win the tournament. We never gave them a chance.
That's right.
And somebody even called them super chickens. You know, of course, I don't bother myself so much about an attention-seeking nobody. But that is what it is. You can't call your national team super chickens. You can't. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, Biko. Nelson Adufe says players should be more disciplined, as Osimhen had to warn a player in our game against Angola to calm down. We shouldn't have lost that Osimhen goal against South Africa if not for indiscipline. But then, Bikio, because of our time, how would you like to see Super Eagles being managed post AFCON, post this tournament, for future, future face-off with other teams or other countries?
You see, with good preparation, our team can go far because we've got good players. Look at Boniface. Boniface didn't play in this tournament because he was injured. With Boniface, you know, playing alongside Osimhen in attack, we will have dealt seriously with him because Boniface has dribbling skills and is a very capable scorer. You know, he's done well in Germany, where he plays his football, and he's young and very fast. So we have players that many countries of the world, will be praying to have. So if we have good preparations for tournament and our and the NFA shows good administrative acumen and are patriotic, not selfish, the way they deal with players and issues of the national team. I believe that the next few years will see Nigeria doing wonders in the game of football. This is a team that once rose to number 5 on the FIFA rankings. We've got the players to do it again. All we need to do is to prepare solidly for tournaments. The World Cup, we are still in the World Cup qualifiers. We are in the same group with South Africa. We still have to get that job done because we are yet to qualify. So I believe that the Nations Cup, winning the Nations Cup, will even make us stronger and give us the psychological lift to do well in future competitions. And we have to decide whether we want to keep Pesero. If we are not happy with him, it's better we let him go and get someone who is more experienced, who will make us play a more attractive kind of football, which is also result oriented. But so far, you cannot accuse him of not doing well. You know, you may not like his style of play, you might not like the fact that it's defensive in nature, but it's achieving the results, and we have to give him credit for that.
Okay. Yeah. So let's change tack by looking at the issues surrounding the economy within the country. There have been some protests by Nigerians in some states against what they described as hardship following the removal of petrol subsidy, whereas the NLC has threatened to declare a nationwide strike in the next 14 days over the alleged failure of the government to implement the MOU reached with both unions in October 2023. What's your reaction to this, BQ?
Well, we need a response, a very effective response to the hunger in the land. There's no doubt that the skyrocketing prices of food items is a matter of big concern. It is painful to watch the poor suffer. It is painful to watch the poor starve in our country, in a country that has a lot, in a country so blessed that it should be among the best nations in the world, in a country where at independence we were ranked among great countries like Singapore, like Malaysia, Indonesia, and the rest of them. Brazil, we were on the same level with Brazil. Today, you can see where we are. The result of bad leadership. We've had misleaders rather than leaders, and everyone is paying for that. Everyone is paying for that. The Naira has collapsed. So, and it's leading to serious food crisis in our country. The governor of Niger State said no one should come and buy food in trucks
again, produce in trucks in this country. One of the reasons they had to do this is because our currency is weak. And because our currency is weak, farmers and middlemen prefer to buy produce in bulk and send them across the border rather than sell them here. Because they know by sending them across the border, they'll make a lot more money because the currencies of the countries around us are stronger than our own currency. This is a fact. I've been in Yobe State where I saw produce stacked on trucks. Some of those trucks, as high as a story building, they are going across the border to sell food items. And our people here are left to suffer. So we've got to do something about the hunger in the land. And I'm ashamed of governors who, in spite of all that they've collected, more than 3.3 trillion collected in 6 months, they are not forthcoming in terms of easing the pains of our people. We are not saying that, oh, it is a permanent thing, but do your best to even ease the pains on our people. How do you watch the people suffer? There are governors who have collected 2 billion from the president because that's the first tranche of a monument for palliative grains that the president released. These governors received this money and they didn't share any palliative. Some just shared a little. It's just not right. It shows just how callous some of our governors are. They think just about themselves. This is the time to show empathy towards Nigerians. These are people who voted for you. How can the president release money to federal lawmakers to buy grains for their constituents in December when only a few of them have shared grains? What kind of country is this? It was a federal lawmaker from those states who let the world know that the president released money for them to buy grains for their constituents. He bought trailer loads of rice to share to his people. Is it not in the same country that we are, that we see the governor of Yobe State taking palliative grains even to tertiary institutions, the polytechnics and universities to share? And yet we can't see some people even publicly share it. I mean, this kind of governors should be ashamed of themselves. It's a matter of concern. In Kogi, in Port Harcourt, in Niger, in Kano, our people have risen in protest against the skyrocketing prices of food items. They can barely live with it. Yet our politicians still behave as if nothing has changed. You see them with their SUVs flaunting wealth in the faces of our people. What kind of politicians are these ones? They're still behaving as if nothing has changed. Yet this is a country that is broke. We are taking loans all over the place. We are spending so much money to service loans. Our currency is dying.
That's right.
One pound to our currency is about 1,900. The naira has risen to about 1,450, 1,460, and all that. The pound is about 1,900 to the naira. That's a matter that we should all be concerned about. The president has said, okay, release grains from the strategic grains reserve. Are we sure that some of it won't be diverted? Because this is what politicians do. They will corner a good portion of it for party members, for their friends, for their relatives. Absolutely shameless bunch. You are watching people suffer. You can't do anything about the fact that they are suffering. Come on. I mean, people, you cannot be a good leader if you do not have empathy. It's part of the qualities that a leader must have. If you are indifferent to the sufferings of people, then you are not a leader. They gave them money to buy grapes. Some of them converted the money to buying motorcycles for their constituents, for buying what's it called? Dryer. That dryer for people who have salons and all that. But people need to eat first. Survival is the most important thing.
Let me take one or two comments here. Joanna Dabiri says, painful to watch the poor suffer is an understatement. Mohammed Ubana says, where are the palliatives that were promised after the thoughtless removal of fuel subsidies? The 35K cash rewards to workers, the CNG buses. Marco Yaidi says, BKO, don't you think bringing back petrol subsidy is the way to save us from food insecurity? Question for you.
You know what? I will not support bringing back fuel subsidy, but I will support whatever steps that we need to take to address the slide of the naira. Our currency is our pride. It's the symbol of our nation. We can't watch our currency slide the way that can't watch it take a beating the way it's taking a beating in the hands of the dollar. We have to do something about it. We have to do something about it. If we need to bring back the policy of defending our currency with some of what we've got, the way we used to do, then we have to do that. My biggest concern is the naira thing. We have to do our best to make the naira stronger. And the CBN governor has said Nigerians should change their consumption habits, that they love consuming foreign stuff and all that. It's not enough to say that. Take whatever step is necessary to address this problem. Because we decided to float our currency. We are looking for parity between the unofficial market and the official market. That's what that sacrifice, that step is already looking like something that we shouldn't have taken, that we shouldn't have done. Because nobody could have expected me to believe that the naira will slide to 1,500 or close to it. But that's what we are seeing. The CBN governor said that more than $1 billion, they traded in more than $1 billion in a matter of days. Are we sure that as they are pumping dollars into the forex market, those who have stolen money will not convert the dollars, convert the naira that is stolen to dollars again? Because that is part of the problem. Governors collecting allocation and converting a good chunk of the allocation every month to dollars, which they share to their friends and all that by way of security vote.
Biko, are you there? Biko, are you there? Yeah, I'm afraid we're having net connectivity issues with BKO. We hope that
What do they do? What do they do with the security board? They need to tell us. The security board simply something that you share to your harem or girlfriends, to your friends. Do just whatever catches your fancy. You convert. Governors decide what they should set aside as security board. That is their decision. You and I have no say. And once they've done that, they go ahead and convert a good chunk of it to dollars. How can we be using the dollars as much as we use it in our country? Big men don't like giving people gift in naira terms. They want is the dollar that they use, and you are saying that the dollar is scarce. Why won't it? Because it's a function of supply and demand. The demand for it is rising. People simply want to use it to give it out as gifts.
Okay. On the other hand, the CBN governor, can you hear me, BKO?
Yes.
Right. On the other hand, the CBN governor, just like you said, Yemi Cardoso, alongside the economic team, told the Senate that its efforts were beginning to yield results to ease the economic situation in the country. But in the midst of all of these, it's important to also note that there is lack of electricity or a very insufficient amount of it that is needed by small-scale businesses to thrive. How do we record positive gains among the suffering masses if this is not addressed? BKO, very quickly, we are just more than 30 minutes already.
So it has to be addressed to stimulate growth. The SMEs, are described as the engine of growth. But if they do not have electricity, how do they function? Today, the generating companies are struggling to have access to gas. Again, because we are pricing gas that the power generating companies use.
Yeah.
We are pricing it in dollars in our country. I mean, it's crazy. After all, this electricity, once it's generated, it is for the use of the local people, for the use of Nigerians. Why are you pricing it in dollars? Why are you pricing the IOCs producing gas prefer to sell it to their foreign clients rather than sell to generating companies in Nigeria? So we are not generating enough, we are not transmitting enough, and therefore we are not distributing enough electricity. So in the last 1 or 2 months, it's been very bad, and we suffered some system collapses during that period. We have not solved the problem of electricity. We've not solved it. I was not surprised when the South Africans were making fun of us and calling us the Generator Republic. I wasn't surprised. We are just beating them. They were bitter. And they were calling us the Generator Republic. Why won't they call us Generator Republic? South Africa produces up to 48,000 megawatts of electricity, relying excessively on coal. We have coal in Enugu here. Nigeria produces on the average 3,500 to 4,000 megawatts. So why won't the South Africans mock us? I mean, it's sad. It's so sad.
Because we just have to go. Marvin Odita says sharing rice or grains is a bad economic policy. It does not solve economic hardship. He also said, okay, Abiodun Felicia says the government should stop or ban pricing of items in dollars, naira, is our currency. All right, because of our show, because of our time, we need to quickly race on. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always, and we hope the Nigerians will be happy tomorrow.
Hopefully, we'll win the trophy tomorrow and spread joy in our country. Nigerians are due for something that makes them happy. If the leaders can make them happy, let the Super Eagles make them happy. We'll be happy to see that.
Right.
We take it.
And thank you to our audience for your company, for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Sheeta. See you again next edition. Bye for now.